This is a PokePress special report.
Alright, hi, Steven back here again. I'm recording this on Thursday evening, so we're going to go over a couple days here. So, obviously we did go back to Osaka, had to go down the ramp train or whatever it is, and then take the actual train back to Osaka, take the subway over to the bullet train line. We got to actually ride in the bullet train, which is, it is actually on tracks. It is not magnetic levitation, as some of you may think, but it is, at least in my experience, very quick. Hopefully there's some video here that kind of shows how things move by. The speed actually is about maybe like twice what you drive on the highway. So very quick. And it didn't take us very long to get to Kyoto because the two cities are actually not really that far apart. It's kind of like going, I guess, from D.C. to Baltimore, maybe not even that far. So it didn't take us, it wasn't a very long trip, but we checked into a new youth hostel. It was pretty much like the other one with a few exceptions. I think I liked the second one better. It had Wi-Fi throughout, although I know a couple of the other people on the trip had trouble connecting. We each had our own key card for our room. We were divided up a little bit differently as well, but much of the other stuff was pretty much the same. So for our first day in Kyoto, what we did is we went to this meditation thing where basically we all got in a room, we had to cross our legs, put her back up straight and close her eyes and, breathe in and out. And one of the things they do, you may have seen this maybe in a movie somewhere, is that at certain points someone will bow down and then the person leading the ceremony will strike them on their back. Now, based on what the other people in our group said, it doesn't actually hurt when they do that. But personally, I did not try to find out. It was optional. But it's actually fairly loud, too. I can only imagine if it were actually being done to you, it would be even louder. So that was kind of the deal there. The second day in Kyoto, we had free. We went to the former palace that, when Kyoto was the capital of at least that part of Japan, if not the whole country, that actually used to be the palace there. We went around the grounds a lot. Only part of it was open. And I should point out that with some of these places, they don't allow you to take photos inside the building. So if you're not seeing photos of the insides, that's generally why. And that applies to a number of places. So just keep that in mind. Afterwards, we actually went to an arcade in the afternoon, which is, I should say, is called a game center in Japan. Actually, there's a TV show called Game Center CX, of which I am a pretty big fan. But we went to an actual arcade. Bottom floor was the sort of insert yourself into a photo things, sort of like the digital version of those cutouts you would put your head into, but it's like the digital version of that. We had a couple people in our group try that. They kind of commented it was probably designed for people who were a little bit shorter and presumably a little bit younger than they were. The rest of that floor was pretty much all claw-type games, UFO catcher, the crane game. One thing I should mention about the UFO catchers, I did pick up a Pokemon stamp there. It's a Froakie. And so I did get something for the money I spent. You went up a story. They had some medal redemption games. Basically, you play these games, you get medals. I'm not really sure exactly. We only got 3 of them between all of us. See, third floor was video games, and one of the things they have there is they have the Mario Kart arcade game. Now, this is not the one that came out during the GameCube era. Same people, Namco, behind it, but this is the one that came out, I guess, last year. It has the hang gliding mechanics from 7, and it's fairly fun. Like I said, I don't think the tracks that I played at 2 different tracks. Didn't think they were as interesting as the ones in the main Mario Kart game, but it's an arcade experience. You can play against other people via linked machines. So overall, I did have fun with that. Let's see, 4th floor, they've got some like pool tables and some other stuff, as well as I think they've got a karaoke room, and they've got a couple floors of bowling. So that was the deal with that building there. once we left that, we were actually able to find a pachinko parlor. We only went in there briefly, and one of the guys you're with played one round, but we kind of lost interest after that. It was just kind of to see what it was about. After that, we grabbed some food over at a local dessert/tea/ They did actually have some regular food if you wanted to eat a full meal there. I had some strawberry shortcake that was pretty good, actually. And that dessert place is in basically an indoor/outdoor shopping mall. The way it works is there's a bunch of stores, and most of it is covered. And, after the place there, we just kind of looked through. One thing we noticed is that there are actually a lot of UFO catcher games. They're extremely popular. They are everywhere. One common thing I saw is that they would have like a TV playing some sort of anime, and then there'd be within the building all these different UFO catcher games where you could get anime type stuff. There seemed to be quite a few of those. While I was in the mall, I also checked out a couple of manga/anime shops. Didn't find a whole lot of Pokemon stuff, although I suspect that a lot of that stuff either goes through the Pokemon centers or traditional retail. I wasn't, unfortunately, able to find like a video game store or anything like that. One thing I did pick up, though, at one of the bookstores is the old Game Center CX book. Now, I mentioned that show earlier. Look it up if you're interested in old retro video games. It's pretty cool. I have no way to actually read the book since it's in Japanese, and my knowledge is pretty limited, but maybe someday I'll learn enough to do it justice. But for now, it's just kind of a collector's item. So, that was Wednesday. Thursday, basically, we started off from Kyoto. We took the bullet train again, and we went to almost all the way to Tokyo. We went to some of the mountains nearby, and then we took an actual air-suspended cable car, and we went up way up high. And you know what? The next part of this actually kind of stinks, and I mean that in a literal sense, because we went to see some geysers that produce, in addition to hot water, a fair bit of sulfur. And so we got to take a look through that, and didn't smell real great. Not horrible, but not somewhere I would want to spend hours on end. After that, we took the bus that we were riding in for most of the local travel today to the hotel we're staying at, which is another, has more traditional Japanese rooms. So it's kind of like that place we stayed up in the mountains before. But in this case, we had dinner. And unfortunately, dinner was a little later than I would have liked. It kind of overlapped with what I think is the normal time slot for Pokemon, so I did not get to see that while I'm here in Japan, which is, I guess, really unfortunate. Maybe I'll be able to catch Pokemon Sunday, or, well, it's not called that anymore, but hopefully I can catch that before I leave on Sunday. But the dinner we had was pretty interesting. I liked most of what was there. A lot of fish, some stew with chicken in it, and soup. Didn't like everything, and some of it was a little hard to handle with chopsticks, even though I consider myself to be fairly decent with them. But that's where we are now. So tomorrow morning we have breakfast, and then we head out to Tokyo. We're going to take a bus back to the train station, take the bullet train for a relatively short trip to Tokyo, and then I think we catch up to our last hostel, and then we have kind of the afternoon off. Like I said, one of the next couple of days, they do really plan on going to the Pokemon Center in Tokyo, checking it out, and getting whatever my heart desires there, and really looking forward and hoping to do that. So stay tuned. Hopefully the next part comes soon. Thanks.
This has been a PokePress special report.